All right, everybody, it is time. Welcome back to Talking Mons, our Digimon Adventure 2020 recap podcast. Our last episode. Oh my god, it is... Oh man, it has been so long. It's been a crazy year of following along with this show.
It's been a ride.
We finally hit the we finally hit the last episode 67, titled fittingly "The End of the Adventure." So we're gonna go over what happens in the last episode, kind of give our thoughts. And then probably the second half, maybe give our general thoughts about the season overall and how it ended up shaping out. So, basically, like I kind of said last episode, this and the last two episodes kind of form like what I'd consider a three-part ending, because they run right into each other. It's all the one big battle. So, Omnimon is about to is going to fight Negamon's newest form, who we finally get like a humanoid version of him, and he is basically like the anti-Omnimon.
Yes.
He's just shadowy and covered in eyeballs, but he's got a sword arm and a cannon arm. Mm-hmm. But they have a big fight, and I'll admit the fight between them is really it gets you hyped, especially when the fucking theme music kicks in and they doing like an orchestral cover of it.
Yes.
That's how you know that's when shit's really going down. Mm-hmm. And then I know I'm sure a lot of people were calling it, and I called it last episode, but we got to see Omnimon's mode change in this. So
yes.
He turns into his Alter S form for a hot second, where he swaps out War Greymon and Metal Garurumon for Blitz Greymon and Crest Garurumon. Basically, just switches gun and sword arms. They just switch to the other arm.
He has rainbow energy.
He has rainbow energy because all the kids give the power of the crest to Omnimon, so all of their spirits are in there. But so the Great Catastrophe has been defeated. Big shocker there, but it happens. And then we just kind of get a weird kind of a bit of a vague ending, honestly, because it kind of cut after the big battle. It like cuts to all the kids being like, what should we do now? And then it cuts to like all of the Digimon we've met along the way, and like the leader, like the big pillars, like Leomon and Lopmon, and Garbagemon. They're all talking to like different groups of Digimon and basically just telling them of the story of the Digidestined. And
what's the term? Proselytizing? What's the religious term?
I think proselytizing is the right word.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
Yeah,
they're a religion now.
Yeah, yeah, they are heroes of legend now. But most of the kids end up going back to the real world with their partner, surprisingly. So, I think the most interesting one is that Mimi and Izzy are working out of a shed.
Yeah, that was cute.
Mimi is like president as like the Mimi company and partners or whatever, and Izzy is working on what looks like he's building a gate to the digital world, kind of like, I'm assuming, like the season 2 kids, how they could basically just put their Digivice up to any computer and they would just warp them there. I think he's like building something like that. But weirdly enough, and I don't know if it's like this is supposed to be after Izzy builds that gate or whatever, but we end on Tai and Agumon, but they're still in the digital world, and they're like, well, let's go have us another adventure, and that's where it ends.
I think they're totally setting up for a sequel. Not like, I know Ghost Game is next, but I think they're setting up for a sequel series, whether it's a season 2 remake or more of the Digidestined. I'm not sure, but I'm sure a sequel is down the pipeline.
Yeah, it's
heavily teased.
Yeah, it's heavily teased. It's a very vague ending. Like, they could end it where it is now, and that'd be fine. But if they leave it open enough that if they ever wanted to come back to this version of these characters, there's plenty of room to expand. So I have conflicting feelings about this. But before I list my gripes, why don't you guys go ahead and tell us how you feel about this last episode?
Jeanette, you go first, since you seem to have the most positive outlook on this.
I mean, it made me feel a lot of emotional things, and it made me appreciate the journey that we'd gone on to get here. Like, I really liked it, but I also did have mixed feelings, too, in that I was like, this ending was what I wanted the series to be all along, and it finally was it in this ending, where all the Digidestined worked together, and it felt like a team effort, and, like, It just felt like what I was hoping the series would be, and I'm glad it got there and it ended without getting there. I just wish we had more that was like this, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gary, you go ahead.
Story-wise, it just feels... I don't know, it feels like after all these time, it feels like the ending... Well, not the ending, just there's a bit of hollowness to it. Animation-wise, it's fantastic, but it's not as good as the Millennium Mon fight.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to the little ending montage, I do love the little detail that they put in. Like
Yes.
how Mimi got a statue.
Yes, the statue!
They built a statue in her honor.
Yeah. So, like, of everyone in the group, only Mimi has a statue.
Well, because she's fucking boss of like 2 different factions, man.
Only Mimi deserves it.
She is a queen and a president.
Yeah. And all these little things with the school and the little farm field places.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the one Digimon finally got his degree. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bancho Mamimon finally graduated.
Yeah.
And one thing I noticed about the Mimi's Kingdom company shack is Tendamon inside the network rather than out in the real world?
Yep.
I don't know.
He's in the PC.
Like, he's on screen, but is that just a little cursor thing, or is he literally in the internet helping Izzy build?
I guess you could take that as Izzy is like finding a way for them to like kind of come and go. Kind of like how he did in Try.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of had that. He kind of like, oh, they have this like storage box that they can jump in and out of. But maybe he like has perfected the, or at least is still working on a way to, you know, go back and forth between the digital world and the real world.
Right.
I've seen these little clips of the Digimon hiding in the real world with their partner. Just makes me miss the whole arc and all the shenanigans that we saw in the original series.
It's gonna come.
Yeah.
It's gonna be in the sequel.
Everyone's in a trench coat. Gary, did you have anything else?
No. What do you think,
Okay.
JD?
So, I like parts of this. I like it in pieces.
Exactly.
The Abatomon Omnimon fight is great. I love when he slides into Alter S mode. That is amazing, and I love it. I think the framing device of like, oh, you know, these Digimon we met along the way are telling other Digimon about the great heroes, and like they become legend in this world. I like that we get to see it shows little bits of like, okay, well, we met all of these friends along the way and had like all these different adventures, and they kind of pop in on them for a second and just like, this is what happened to them after after the catastrophe was thwarted. And it's cute to just kind of see what they're up to. Like we said, it's funny that Bancho Mamimon finally graduates from school.
Mm-hmm.
I like that Joe's group with the Hot Spring guys and the Vikings, they're all hanging out and they're buds now.
Mm-hmm.
I like that Ogremon's evolution and the motorcycle are just out running in the Outlands, and they're buds now.
Yep.
I like that Leomon for the first time makes it to an end of a series.
Yeah.
Yes.
I watched this and I went on Twitter, and one of the first images I see is just a picture of Leomon, and under it says, "Bitch, I lived."
He did indeed live.
Yeah, but my problems with this mostly lie with the very ending, is like how vague they leave it. Like, I think it's fun that like, okay, the Digimon came back to the real world and they're hanging out. We only get like really small glimpses of that. What Izzy and Mimi up to is kind of interesting, and I would want to know like what's going on with that. I find it really vague that Tai is still in the digital world. Like why, if he like is able to go back and forth, or if he chose to stay, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And also like, as much as I like the fight between Batomon and Omnimon, it still doesn't make Negamon as a character any more compelling now that he has like a humanoid form. He's still spouting the same things that, like, you know, he is here to consume, he is here to destroy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He doesn't like gain a personality from getting a humanoid body. He just is more powerful now.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's like it's not a bad ending. It's not the ending I was hoping for. But there's a lot of good in it. But I don't know if I'm 100% satisfied with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I kind of agree, but I feel like that is I think they were going for the journey rather than the destination kind of feel for the ending.
Yeah. Right.
But the journey isn't all too satisfying, so this vague ending is also not as satisfying as the result. If the journey was a little more, like, fulfilling, then this vagueness would be a little better.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll definitely get into some general impressions, but before we do that, I mean, is there anything else you guys want to say specifically about this last episode?
I liked it.
This one little thing that just, I guess maybe it's just from other anime, either for older audience or younger audience as well. It's just, I felt that it was a little odd that they would end with the regular ending song and the ending sequence.
Yes.
A lot of time nowadays, it's just at the very last episode, they start rolling the credit. They might have the song on in the back as background music, and then we see all the little epilogue shots of everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, Gary, it's funny you bring that up because I've been watching Black Clover, and funny enough, they just aired their last dub episode this week, and like you said, Gary, that's exactly how that last episode went. Is that they start playing the theme music and the credits are rolling, but it's all over like this like epilogue footage of like what the characters are about to do, or like how it's ending or whatever. But yeah, you're right. It's like the episode ends, it cuts to Izzy doing his encyclopedia entry, this time on Koromon, basically ending on where we began, and then you know end credits and cut to black, and that's it.
Yeah, I even made a point of like fast forwarding through the encyclopedia entry to see if there was like a little epilogue or teaser or anything at the end.
No, nothing. Not even like a trailer for Ghost Game or anything.
It's not. Yeah. It's not a complaint. I just find it odd that.
Yeah.
It just feels like a regular episode rather than a finale.
Yeah, it doesn't make it feel extra special like it should.
I thought kind of how much effort and attention went to the fight. It definitely felt like a final fight to me, especially compared.
That last fight is great, and that is definitely the highlight of this episode, and I can't fault any of that. It's just everything following it.
I do want to say I'm really happy that everyone got a happy ending. That made my heart go doki doki.
Yeah, even Negamon kind of gets a happy ending because Omnimon's like, you know, we don't really die if you're a Digimon. We just kind of get reborn. So at the end, Negamon like turns into an egg, and Omnimon's like, look, I don't know if you're going to be evil in your next life. You're going to be great. I don't know, but that's kind of up for you to decide. So I guess I'll just see you later. Then Negamon turns back into an egg and disappears.
I actually really like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So, even the big bad guy kind of gets a happy ending.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy Snow here, owner and editor-in-chief of The Geekly Grind. I'm interrupting your awesome, regularly scheduled programming to ensure that you know about our Geekly Grind podcast network, of which this show is a treasured member of. If you haven't had a chance to check out our site, you can do so at www.thegeeklygrind.com, and while you're there, Check out the other members of our steadily growing podcast family, including the anime-centric Blake and Spencer Get Jumped, discovering new heroes and comic book keepers with Chris and Lance, exploring the vast universe of geekdom with Geeksploration, or of course appreciating animation's finer details with the Ink and Paint Club. Escape your weekly grind at the Geekly Grind.
But yeah, if you guys don't have anything else about the final episode, I guess we'll just go ahead and move on to just talking generally about this series as a whole. Now that we have the whole picture of it, I think on the whole I enjoyed this. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of missteps, a lot of things I didn't like. It in no way eclipses the original series. The original series still has so much personality, so much just so much fun in it. And I don't know if that's my nostalgia talking, but I'm not getting the same kind of personality out of this show than I did really any of the shows that came before this.
I agree.
It seems it seems I don't even know how to phrase it exactly. It's just they were trying to go in a different direction, but still kind of play on nostalgia a bit. It changes just enough to make it different, but there's still a lot of beats that play the same as the old show. So it just walks a weird line, and a lot of the times it's fine. Some of the times it stumbles a bit, but I guess all in all, I can say I'm not mad that I watched this show. I definitely liked being able to revisit these characters, like see a new interpretation of them. Will I watch this again? Maybe. Will I watch it over watching the original series? Definitely not. But so it was all right. It was fine for what it was, but you know, sorry, I've been rambling.
No, you're okay.
What are you guys coming away from this show with?
You go, Gary.
Well, it just had a big shoe to fill, and it's always going to be a little difficult to do that. And it's the same reason why Try feels like I never finished Try because it just doesn't have that.
Yeah, Try has its own myriad of problems.
It has its own myriad of problems, but just because Try's a sequel and this is a reboot, there's just a lot of shoe to fill, and it's hard to live up to expectation. And this is, I guess this show is kind of a failure in expectation, because if I never seen the original series, I would probably have loved it. It's just, there are story beats that felt like it went too slow, and story beat that felt like it went too fast. It's just, there's a lot of inconsistency, but the bits and pieces of it, looking in isolation, I like a lot. Like, especially characterization of each and every individual character. But it's just that certain way that the story is told would do them a disservice.
Yeah.
Like, even confined within the series itself.
Yeah, definitely.
And pacing. Just pacing is definitely one of the big issues. Sorry, Jenna, go ahead now.
Yeah. If you're done, but I can wait for you to finish.
Oh, no, I'm done. Sorry.
I think in my mind, although I did like this better than the thing I'm about to mention, what I would compare this to is the Star Wars trilogy, where it didn't really feel like they had a direction with what they were going with the story. They just kind of meandered. Felt like it lacked cohesion. It lacked direction. I really like the characters. There's definitely individual episodes I really like. Any episode that featured Joe was just hilarious and great.
And Mimi.
I sorry to just cut in. I will say, I might have said this before, but this show, this version of Joe is what finally endeared me to Joe. I've never really given him much mind, but for some reason, I fucking love Joe in this version.
Joe was amazing, and I would watch a show that just features the everyday adventures of Joe. Like, if they ever want to do Digimon Joe version, I'm down for it.
My wife would agree with you.
Hey, Joe gets the ladies.
He gets the best boy.
Yeah, he gets the Digimon that everyone else tried to make into, or the other guy tried to make into a bride.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
But yeah, and I definitely had a good time. I think I would give this if I were to rate this series, it'd probably either be a C plus or a B minus. But
That's fair.
The good part was in the individual standalone episodes when they were good, but there's just no, as I said, no cohesion. It just meanders. It doesn't know what it's doing. It had a lot of plot threads that failed to develop really to the point. Like a lot of plot threads, but none of them were really developed or built upon. So it would make a plot thread, drop it, do another plot thread, drop it. Like nothing ever really came of Leomon. Leomon just kind of Leomoned around and survived, luckily.
Yeah, it's like I feel like they were building up this whole thing where Leomon is building up a resistance army, and he's like all the Digimon they're meeting along the way, they're like joining up with Leomon and like doing something. And I honestly thought that like, oh, they're gonna be involved in the final fight somehow.
Yes, exactly.
They kind of just hang out on the side. They kind of get a flash, like an episode ago or something, like. When like the when the digital world and the real world were given the hopes and dreams to power up the Digimon, that's kind of what the extent of the role ended up being. And
yeah,
and I even feel like the whole holy Digimon thing kind of went nowhere. Like Lopmon was supposed to be this like ancient holy Digimon that's lost their power. Like you kind of once you meet them the first time, you don't really hear from them a lot too often. I don't know. I was expecting a little more gravitas, I guess, or something more from this whole holy legion of Digimon concept.
Definitely.
I feel like the whole show and not tell thing kind of failed. They tell us a lot of stuff, but they don't actually show it. Like the big bad in the end. It's very threatening. It's going to end both worlds. But aside from the few thing wiggling down from the sky, it doesn't feel like it's a big threat. It doesn't show it.
I agree.
Right.
Well,
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, at the very least with Millennium Mon, there's a hecking a lot of explosion. At least shows that.
And like even Millennium Mon, I feel like they did such a good job at building up that monster. Like they kept showing you in its like crystal form and like showing all these weird alien cult dudes like all their weird plans to like sap the energy from other Digimon so that they can like resurrect their ancient god.
Yes.
And like honestly, had the show ended at the part where it's like, oh, hey, Millenniumon's actually the big bad guy. Okay, we killed it. Millenniumon was the big bad guy. Honestly, thought that was kind of a good place to stop. It felt like that's where everything culminated. But we're like, nope, we got like 20 more episodes to go. And I'm like, okay, sure. We got some cool stuff out of that second half, technically, or whatever it is. I know it's only like 15, 20 episodes after that. But yeah, it just kind of felt like, honestly, everything past Millenniumon kind of seemed tacked on.
I do have some speculation or question regarding behind the scenes stuff, but let's have Jeanette finish your thought about the show before moving on to that.
I was actually gonna end on that note, but like for example, my big thing with the plot lines, like for example, the Devimon being like Angemon's bad best friend or whatever, bad shadow friend or whatever. Like it felt really tacked on. It never got developed enough, and then it just sort of resolved with a throwaway line. And that just isn't good storytelling. It just isn't. And I guess the thing is, you do have to remember, though, when it comes to the series, is how much was it affected by its break due to COVID?
Yeah, that was my exact same question.
I'm not really sure how much. I mean, obviously, we would need some more information from the development side of this to really know. But I mean, I feel like it was really only affected by COVID after like the first couple episodes where we had that break. But then pretty much right after that, they went solid for the rest of the time. We didn't really have any more breaks after that, as far as I remember.
I feel like, in anime, a lot of the time they finish on the dot with like the episode. Like it could be like a few hours before airing where they actually finally finish rendering the episode. And I feel like it's that they might have developed the story thinking that because of COVID restriction or TV related issue regarding to that, that they shortened the story to where Millennium Mon ends. And then later on, they were told that that isn't the case, so they just kind of cobble the last 15 to 20 episodes together. Mm-hmm. Or at the very least that they have this idea of who the big bad is at the very end, but they just, maybe they've chopped up some stuff to fit that possible shortened schedule.
Mm-hmm. So
speculation. Sorry.
I'm not sure if I wholly agree with that, because I feel like up front, when the show was coming out at the beginning, like, they told us up front, this is going to be 66 episodes, later changed to 67, whatever. Yeah. They got an extra episode. They brought up this whole thing with Argomon, this constant antagonist that keeps showing up, the Soundbirds and all that. I feel like none of that corner of the mystery going on had anything really to do with Millenniummon. I feel like that was all Devimon and the weird alien cult, like that. The kids just thought that was the great catastrophe that keeps being brought up, and they're like, they beat it, and they're like, oh wait, that's not actually a thing. And then that's kind of where Argomon comes in and be like, hey, by the way, all of everything, all the bad stuff going on is actually because of us and the influence of our master, who's been basically sending us out to fuck with shit. So I feel like they knew that Negamon was going to be the end goal. I'm just not so sure. Maybe they had a full plan of how to get there.
Yeah.
I wonder, that's kind of why it feels uneven.
I wonder if there was like disagreement, not necessarily COVID, but if there was disagreement behind the scenes on how to do things, or just no one could agree on how they wanted things to play out, and it just kind of turned into a weird power struggle between the various episode directors.
Another speculation that's related to what you're saying, Jeanette, it could be that they have these disagreements, but because of COVID, work from home restriction, that they never actually fully flushed it out in a proper meeting. Because in Japanese workplaces, they're just terrible at working from home. And it's just a lot of these old school workplaces just still isn't adapting. And that might have caused an issue in during the planning phase and trying to fully flesh out the end of the story.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I mean, COVID really took everybody by surprise and messed with a lot of different productions. So if it is in any way related to maybe like how this show came together and maybe some of its elements, I certainly wouldn't be surprised if that was the case.
Definitely going to keep my eyes peeled for any interviews to see if there's any spicy details. I'm curious.
Yeah.
But overall, like, I had a good time. I did not regret watching it. I have watched animes that I've regretted spending my time with. So,
yeah,
it's all good.
Yep.
Yeah.
All good.
Yeah. And another, just one more thing I do want to mention that I did actually really enjoy with this is I like the variety of Digimon that were featured in this show, because they just took from every corner of every series. Yeah. Like we got stuff from Tamers, we got stuff from Frontier, we got stuff from Savers, we got stuff from Cross Wars. Just for every part of the franchise, they were just pulling. It didn't matter if it made sense. Like fucking Patamon turns into Pegasmon naturally, not an armor evolution. Fucking just the baby form of Lobomon from Frontier that never actually showed up in that show shows up living in this village and helps fucking Gabumon turn into his weird golden wolf form. It's just I love the variety. I like that. It seemed a lot at the beginning that we were going to be meeting a lot of the same guys. Like Ogremon's there, we meet Andromon, a lot of familiar guys. But I like that, like, fucking Garbagemon becomes a pivotal character.
Yes.
And that he's, like, teamed up with Wisemon, and they're, like, super science bros. I know I mentioned it before. I like that fucking Kabuterimon and Kawagamon have, like, an ongoing rivalry, and every time they meet up, they evolve into their next forms.
Yes.
And it's a big fucking bug fight, and it's great. I love it. So... like fucking Lopmon, it's like haven't seen Lopmon since Tamers.
And Lopmon is the best.
Actually, I think Lopmon might have been in Frontier. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But anyway, it's just, I like that they had a lot of variety. There was even some new Digimon that like premiered in this series. So it wasn't like just the standard Digimon we saw back in Adventure who are tried and true, but you know, getting to see some new interesting designs that kind of may actually clash with the older, very simple designs was still really interesting to see.
Yeah. It's like when you have new Pokemon and old Pokemon. It really is, though.
No, that just makes me think of when people are like, what if old Pokemon were designed today? Or if like, what if we went back in time and had old Pokemon designer design the newer ones, and like how like all new Pokemon are rounded off and all old ones are like hard edged and stuff. And it's definitely like that. Digimon has just gotten more complicated over time.
Yes.
It's like, let's take this character, let's add all of this shit to it, and give it a gun.
And a bear's hat.
And a bear's hat.
Yeah, I'm looking at the new... Well, not looking at, I've been keeping up to date with the new Digimon cards being released. It's like, what are these? Where are they from? Why does this exist?
Bruh, I feel ya. Yeah, like, Gary and I have been, like, collecting the new Digimon cards, probably more me than, I don't know what Gary's obsession level is, but mine is bordering on like a problem. But yeah, there's like so many. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck these are. What the fuck is a Balukomon? And why is he made out of ice?
Why are there nuns?
Do you guys know that
why are there... Those are from Cyber Sleuth, I think.
Yeah, you guys know there's an ice like Leomon, right?
Yeah. I know about the blue Leomon. It's just there's all these new guys, and like I've never heard of them before.
Now I want to go back and play Cyber Sleuth some more because I love collecting them all.
I need to give Cyber Sleuth another chance. I should just buy the fucking Switch collection.
It's on sale all the time. Okay, this is our ad for the show. Cyber Sleuth, it goes on sale a lot. It's dual pack, good game. Ignore the story. Just raise Digimon. There we go.
Hey, if we ever want to venture into a gaming podcast, we could all play Cyber Sleuth.
We'll play it 1 hour at a time and see how far we get.
Yep.
Before we actually wrap up, I do want to give Gary an opportunity because we completely forgot to do this last week.
Go Gary.
Yeah, Gary has a new project, and he's here to tell us all about it.
Yes, I have a new show on YouTube. It's called Physical Review. Right now, you might have to filter and click on channel to search for it. It is a review of physical releases of various games, movies, and random merch related to movies and games and anime.
It's going to be a good time, guys. Going to be A+.
I've already watched, I think you have, like, the Death Stranding collection, and what was the other one you have up?
Death Stranding Collector's Edition and the regular PC version of Cyberpunk 2077.
That's
Sweetness.
Right. I watched the Death Stranding one, and that was a really interesting watch. I'll put a link to his channel in the description of this episode, so if you want to check that out. You should do that. Support a guy.
Yeah.
Support a guy in his new endeavor. It's a cool concept. So I think if you're into video games and like weird things that come with them, that could be something you'd be interested in.
Gary, you got to get the physical digital Digimon Survive and unpack that.
Is Digimon Survive ever going to come out?
It better. It will. I believe.
I don't know the last time we even heard anything about it.
Yeah, this is actually the first I heard of it.
There was like one trailer like 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah. I probably have seen it and forgot about it. But speaking of trailer, since Ghost Game is coming out, are we doing Ghost Game?
So, yeah, we literally, I think this coming weekend, as we're recording this, literally the week after 2020 ends, we're getting a new Digimon series called Digimon Ghost Game. There's only been a trailer out for it. There's like been some character information floating out that, but I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of interested in this because it's
so interested.
It has like a weird horror bent to it.
Yeah.
I know nothing about it, and I'm really looking forward to it because I know nothing about it.
And I know like a very bare bones plot, but I won't say anything so you can go in fresh.
Yeah, I just know there's that little Triceratops, and he's literally the cutest thing ever.
Everyone loves Gamamon.
Yeah.
He's quickly become all of the new 3 Digimon. They all seem like pretty solid designs, and
I am so excited for some new Digimon. I think the series is going to have some great ones. Like, I'm just saying.
yeah. So, I know the 3 of us are definitely going to be checking that out. I think we've kind of talked about it, and like if Ghost Games like kind of piques our interest, maybe we'll continue this show and just kind of like start doing bi-weekly reviews of Ghost Game. But if you guys listening out there, if you made it to the end of this episode, if you've enjoyed this show, like having us talk about the new Digimon from week to week, let us know on our social medias and our various comment sections if you would like to see us continue this project, because I have to say, for as much as I'm kind of hit or miss with this show, I think what I really got out of this is that it gave me an opportunity to like once a week talk with like some of my best friends here, and like both of you guys. I can't thank you enough for like just agreeing to take on this project over a year ago, and it's weird that we're finally reaching the final episode of this series.
We did it. We stuck with it.
We did it. We finished it. It's weird, but no, like I appreciate you guys showing up and giving your opinions on it. It's really been fun having these conversations with you guys every other week, and just thanks for being here.
I just want to say to everyone who's listened and stuck with us till the end, just thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate y'all listening and listen to us shoot the crap every week about Digimon. It means a lot to me. It's been very exciting and very fun for me to do this. So thank you so much. Much love from Jeanette.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you all for listening to our rambling.
Yeah, like seriously, from the bottom of our hearts, guys, thank you all for listening to this. It's been really fun, and who knows, maybe in a week or two we'll be like back here like, oh hey, by the way, we're not going anywhere.
Ghost Game is going to be amazing, and we'll be back up.
Okay.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I think that'll do it for us. That is a cap on Digimon Adventure 2020. It's been a weird ride, but thanks for my co-host. Thanks for everyone who's all of our listeners. Thanks for being here with us. We'll see you again doing something else, probably Ghost Game in a couple weeks. But until then, stay safe, and we'll catch y'all later.
Bye, potato
Bye-bye.
buds.